Hello, can you hear?
We can.
Okay, yeah. Can you start the prayer? Yeah.
Yes, Rinpoche.
Yeah.
The three principal aspects of the path. I bow down to my perfect gurus. The essential meaning of the victorious one's teachings, the path praised by all the holy victors and their sons, the gateway of the fortunate ones desiring liberation, this I shall try to explain as much as I can. Those who are not attached to the pleasures of circling, who strive to make freedoms and endowments meaningful, who entrust themselves to the path pleasing the victorious ones, you fortunate ones, listen with a calm mind. Without the complete intention definitely to be free from circling, there is no way to pacify attachment seeking pleasurable effects in the ocean of circling. Also, by craving for cyclic existence, embodied beings are continuously bound. Therefore, at the very beginning, seek renunciation. Freedoms and endowments are difficult to find, and life has no time to spare. By gaining familiarity with this, attraction to the appearances of this life is reversed. By thinking over and over again that actions and their effects are unbetraying, and repeatedly contemplating the miseries of cyclic existence, attraction to the appearances of future lives is reversed. When, by having trained in that way, there is no arising, even for a second, of attraction to the perfections of cyclic existence, and all day and night the intention seeking liberation arises, then the thought of renunciation has been generated. Even if renunciation has been developed, if it is not possessed by the mind of enlightenment, it does not become the cause of the perfect bliss of unsurpassed enlightenment. Therefore, the wise generate the supreme mind of enlightenment. Swept away by the current of the four powerful rivers, tied by the tight bonds of karma so hard to undo, caught in the iron net of self-grasping, completely enveloped by the total darkness of ignorance, endlessly reborn in cyclic existence, ceaselessly tormented by the three sufferings, thinking that all mothers are in such a condition, generate the supreme mind of enlightenment. In short, if, like the mother whose cherished son has fallen into a pit of fire, and who experiences even for 1 second of his suffering as an unbearable eternity, your reflection on the suffering of all mother sentient beings has made it impossible for you to bear their suffering for even 1 second, and the wish-seeking enlightenment for their sake arises without effort, then you have realized the supreme precious mind of enlightenment. Without the wisdom realizing ultimate reality, even though you have generated renunciation in the mind of enlightenment, you cannot cut the root cause of circling. Therefore, attempt the method to realize dependent arising. One who sees the cause and effect of all phenomena of both cyclic existence and the state beyond sorrow as forever unbetraying, and for whom any object trusted in by the grasping mind has completely disappeared, has at that time entered the path pleasing the Buddhas. If the appearance that is unbetraying dependent relation is accepted separately from emptiness, as long as these two understandings are seen as separate, then one has still not realized the Buddha's intent. If these two realizations are happening simultaneously without alternation, and from merely seeing dependent relation is completely unbetraying, the definite ascertainment comes that completely destroys the way all objects are apprehended as truly existent. At that time, the analysis of the ultimate view is complete. Furthermore, appearance eliminates the extreme of existence, and emptiness eliminates the extreme of non-existence. If you realize how emptiness manifests in the manner of cause and effect, then you are not captivated by wrong notions holding extreme views. In this way, you realize exactly the vital points of the three principal aspects of the path. Resort to seeking solitude, generate the power of effort, and quickly accomplish your final goal, my child.
야, 러시들레, 기줄라, 러시들레, 다.
Geshe Khen Rinpoche cho.
야,
Welcome.
나, 니 기줄라 당부인도, 좋아?
Lade Rinpoche.
오케이. 먹거나 야, 계속 되게 치라.
Atso Khen Rinpoche.
야, 그게 거장 있잖아. 감사라.
Steni Lobdala. Dharamsala Steni Lobdala.
알레, 생일납다. 요롱보장하래.
Lade. Na Umalarim Nipa Lipson Rinpoche.
알레, 나 감사해 왜?
Lade. Tanta Sherebling la yore. Chitang Dharamsala la yore.
알레,
Lade.
알레, 엄마 너를 니봐. 때문에 버렸다.
Geshe Rinpoche.
야, 때문에 이랬던 것도 산재 초조마다 철숨 안된 차례. 제자디 내디 조조다 먼저 통말다. 추리 차와칸데 샤바이나야 다 골ung 쪼가야. 다 점도 접수도 왔다 심겨봐. 어딘데 시다. 아니 저서 당체 당조 최년 최세 어티시도 임바래 제자다. 로와.
And so we begin this gathering by reciting the refuge prayer through embodied Chitta 3 times, right? And so we're doing this in order to, for our practice of the Dharma, correcting our motivation before we engage in our study and practice of the Dharma. So going for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and generating mind of bodhicitta as our motivation for this time together.
진짜래. 제가 딱 가두이네래. 딱 먼저 가두이네 전수 떤 거래. 알아봤지. 이제 심 나왔다. 밖에 점도 심계지 뭐는 심나라 차로 체시 심나라 전수 당체 도시 년바이나 딱고 아니 년바지 쇼스 줘야지. 이 쉐샤바이나 샤바지 쇼스 줘야지. 어딘데겠다. 잡으려 요대 봐시래.
Khen Rinpoche nyampa di chusudra di kusuma
Oh,
song yang kesu. Di konda di nyampa di chusudra di nyampa de veyana di nyampa
Nyamba,
nyamlen
chu
chaya
nyamba
hale
ina,
nas
nyamba di
nas.
chosu dwe, sheba ina, sheba di chosu dwe, ote.
So Khen Rinpoche is reminding us that any time we need to remind ourselves to cultivate this in our heart, this going for refuge to the three jewels and generating bodhicitta, so that our activities of whether it's listening to the Dharma or teaching, explaining the Dharma, at any time that we're engaging these activities, we need to make this motivation, refuge and bodhicitta strong in our heart and keep it there.
Tindere, den hakpardu da, ngonzo ngone chik da, lakpardu tekpa chimbe chu chingi chi ina, da ko changju sem, da, donda shimbengi samba, tinde chi ngone chik da, tenpa che che, tinde je ngane chawa chaba ina, an tsang shosu zhayashi, rawa. Tsangma ane chik tamje kebe, gyuru dutbeshi, tinde nuba yoyi bare.
So on top of that, doing the Mahayana, the Mahayana Dharma. So more emphasis is on this cultivating the bodhicitta and the wish to benefit others, the mind wishing to benefit others. So we should not be separated from this attitude, this good heart when engaging in our study and practice. And then samadhi, temperature.
Tsangma sanjegi, tobegi gyuru zhayashi, sanjegi, tobegi gyuru
So
zhayashi.
and if we do with this, our activities with this motivation of the bodhicitta and wish to benefit others, then this becomes a cause for attaining the state of Buddhahood.
tindere, 다간조 가장 다간조 다 가르스나. 그래, 람림 냠고 다가장조 춘죽이 기 춘죽 지고데 가장조 시차바래. 춘죽다 그런 람림 냠고 빼져나 미도 때문에 춘죽 고고나 롱도 연대 담제 다시 빼 솔람도 이제 탄다되면 간살이 타나 이신. 대들신의 레로콘스 럽주스미 계산은 저절하면 냠네 다도다 대시 장차로 가장은 뒤 슈차바래. 춘죽의 꽃이.
So in our last session together, we covered the Amalike choice effort or steady effort. So as the verse says, when you don Amalike effort, steady and immovable, the qualities of scripture and realization will increase like the waxing moon. All your behavior will become meaningful, and whatever actions are undertaken will be accomplished as desired. Having understood this, the Congress children put forth billowing waves of effort, dispelling all laziness. You, the perfect guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way. So we covered this verse in our last session together.
오래 저다다 가정 뭐를 시원한 시대 또 준줍세디 시 계신 뭐 차게요래 알아봤다 준줍 아니 거기 먼저 학파도 최시배 qabla 아니 지 탄다 다 계획 차와 주배 qabla 당조 아니 지 승비 나라 배 승비 띵들라 가능 가외 나와요 봐 조나요 봐 가나요 봐 조나요 봐 tindeeshila ta nganzu tsundu sikiyo re, raba. O ti kwaya di shiu geshimu re, ti yoba ina ta nganzu yewe chawa di ani kone kondu pe zhuayishi. Raba, kone kondu pe chi ani ngani chikda tanda tamche dhubtu wayishi yungu yo re, tsundu yoba ina.
And so this of enthusiasm or joyous effort is really important. Whatever activity we engage in, we need to do it with this this virtuous activity, all our virtuous activities. If we have the armor of enthusiasm or joyous effort, then this really brings potency to our virtuous or positive actions. What we hadn't developed will develop, and what we have developed will increase more and more. So through this, having this armor of joyous effort. And so we need to have whatever virtuous Dharma activities we're engaging in, we need to do with a happy mind, with a delighted mind. And then this will be the condition for increasing all our virtues. So really this armor of enthusiasm or joyous effort is extremely important.
근데 신내다 준비고대 가정 수사래. 다 티네마 티슈들라 삼다 퍼진 투비나네다 나봐. 안 삼등이 퍼진세 디셰 갑라래. 담도 디 카토래. 다슨 삼대 삼라 온줄 잡을때 샤는 에메지 잡으신. 다나게 밑바꾸는 줄 무슨 레소드 대신된 베드레션 내주 온보노. 남의 다수 땐지 준도 땐스 이제 솔라면 다도다 대시 장차로스다 어티래.
And so last time together we discussed I taught the um, armor of choice effort. And so then moving on to among the six perfections, the fifth perfection of training in concentration. So as the verse reads, concentration is a king ruling the mind. When placed, it is as immovable as Mount Meru. When sent forth, it engages all virtuous objects. It induces the great bliss of a serviceable body and mind. Having understood this, the lords of yogis rely continuously on the meditative stabilization that destroys the enemy, distraction. You, the perfect guru, practiced in this way. I, who am seeking liberation, will also practice in this way.
티래 다 던다 가서래 다이섬 토마다 섬쟁이 섬대 다학다 조조 신내 다 고스 바바 신내 네 tin데 직직 드토바이나 아니 지금 원에 지 거기 쌤디 밑발라 지직도 내시 아니 칭와당 아니 영화 tin데지 간기 있잖아 경기 막어봐 체시 유럽부 받다 밑바 찍라 대토베 템부슈신 대토베 순구야래 삼단삼라 온결 잡어도 샤는 에메리 잡으신 리 잡은 낭신세 템부슈 대시 밑바 찍라 봐 유럽부 받다 네토베시 쌤마야지 어떤데 용했다 신내야 부터 도와이나 어떻게 배 신내게 배도 숨겨야 어떻게.
So this verse is mainly teaching concentration and specifically the concentration of calm abiding, the single-pointed concentration, right? So when you're able to develop this concentration to a high level, this calm abiding, then you're not affected by and you overcome the laxity and excitement, the two obstacles for developing the single-pointed concentration. And so as the first two lines of the verse indicate, concentration is a king ruling the mind. When placed, it is as immovable as Mount Meru. So it's having this potency of this concentration that's able to stay fixed on one object. And this verse is really indicating the qualities, these first two lines, the qualities of calm abiding or concentration.
도시네 따던다 아니지 따 땅나게 밑바꾸는 쭉 따던다 샘지 파지야 这些都慢点吧，切切，等你啊，这样预先了什么当白那，结尾切完先了什么当白那，那叫忙不，这样这努巴的点吧，现在就特别些，是，我听得用过的，现在都啥呢？我听。
And so once we accomplish this calm abiding, then as the third and fourth line indicate, when sent forth, it engages all virtuous objects. It induces the great bliss of a serviceable body and mind. And so when we have this mind of calm abiding, then we have we attain calm abiding fixed on one object. And then when we turn our mind to any other virtuous objects, we're able to have such a potency in our cultivation of virtue through this achievement or accomplishment of calm abiding.
도시니다 즉 숨바들에 시바들에 루심 레소르 대신된 다 오늘지 뇌당 셈라 아니 시우지파게 대화심부 젠투베 다 돈다니 가르사라 파게 신장 세지 톱쳤더니 류이나데 세미나데 아니 즉 파게 지 계획 차원을 주는 두가라 강에 매바치 빼 셈지 파 계획 차와 가도 주바이나다 강에 매바치 어떤데 용토베시데 신의 두사도 가나 누스 루 신장 납쳤다 돈다 류이나데 세미나데 베 레스로만 차체 가래레나 지금 주인도 가나 딱강에 매봤었다 어떤데 용하지 아니 섬라 간낭 또나 용대 어떻게 대신 된 세대
So yes, these third and fourth line, when sent forth, it engages all virtuous objects. It induces the great bliss of a serviceable body and mind. So this, when one accomplishes calm abiding, this state of mind, with that you have this pliancy or serviceable body and mind. So whether you're talking about the serviceability or pliancy of body or the serviceability or pliancy of mind, you have this, whatever virtues you're engaging in or turn your mind to, you have no problems. There's no difficulties with engaging in those virtues. Your body is light and flexible and comfortable, and the mind is easily able to turn to the virtues. And so it becomes this comfortable and ease and flexibility of the body and the mind that comes through accomplishing calm abiding that helps us to accomplish our virtues.
tere ta dikabla zo suan tere ta bagi tengezin ta shinegi ta yuande na shin di korsungu yare shin tengezin ki re shinne ta tengezin ki yuande roshi rawa ta shinne ji drubayi na wane ji bagi duilang semla shivu ji bagi karswara dewa yungashi dusim nikala shivu dewa ye yungashi ta shinne drubayi na 얼마 채다가랑라 어틴데기다 섬나 섬당 르라 다 대화 계시 송도와 채다가랑라 틴데 용투베 신의 두바이나 어때
So that's the main thing that is explained or taught in this verse, the qualities of calm abiding, of concentration. So when you have this, when you accomplish calm abiding, then the serviceability or pliancy that comes for the body and the mind really makes the body and mind serviceable in virtue. It makes the body really at ease and comfortable, and the mind really comfortable and happy. So you have this happiness and this delight and this lightness and ease to be able to engage in virtue, and just through the accomplishing of calm abiding, the body and mind are both very comfortable. The mind is happy, and so these are qualities of concentration, in particular calm abiding, and these are the qualities that one achieves in this life. So the serviceability of body and mind, this comfortableness of body and happiness of mind, these are qualities that are attained in this life through achieving calm abiding.
제가 류신장 심신장 어틴데지 아니 신의 두베갑라 용구야래 어티용도 갈라 다스 랑게 심디 게미 박한데 질렀다 샹이 토나파 샥초초 식강에 매버세데 게베 차wak한데 질라 심디 게미 박한데 샤게나 다 류라 강에 매봐 아니 심라 강에 매봐 다 강도도 꼴도르마 세셔 봐 강도도 꼴도르마 세시 어떤데 용해 어떻게
So I got to say previously, also Khen Rinpoche added that not only the comfortableness of body and mind, but that comfortableness and that bliss, that pleasant feeling increases more and more. It increases through the achieving calm abiding. And so then on top of that, the achieving this pliancy or serviceability of body, this comfortableness of the body, and the serviceability or pliancy of mind, this flexibility of mind, enables us to put the mind on any virtuous object for however long we want, in whatever way we want. So we gain this control to be able to turn our mind to whatever virtuous object we want for however long and whatever way we want. So this is a great quality of achieving calm abiding.
다가 나시 아니 직다 먼저 남기나 다 먼저 셈라 인치 먼저 라와면 셈디 인도기야래 먼저 다 신의 마토베 qabla 소소 셈라 라와야 말에 셈디다 친절롭게 율라다 다 맨다다 남도 다면서 친절롭게 렀다 맨다 신이다 먼저 인치 아니 셈라 라와산 매바신 차인 것도 다 신의 둡사바이나 딘데겠다 라와면 봐다 친절롭게 율라 인도에디 매바 차체 아니 티 똑비다 다 가라서나다 남도 망보 지 각체 다 미제로 망보 지 각체 아니 티 똑기다 yawa chen du kala, ta topdan dama shaye, o tinji yung kuya. Yawa drubi du kala, ta nuba shung topdan dama shaye, shine dubsana, o tinji.
So for us, we have, without control, our mind wanders off. We turn our interest to, and our mind scatters to all kinds of things, right? And we lose our focus, and our mind scatters to things that are unwholesome. We have many different preconceptions and superstitions, and so we turn our mind to all things that aren't helpful for us on the path. Whereas when we can achieve this calm abiding, then that's when we gain control, and it blocks our mind from wandering off to non-virtuous objects, to all kinds of things that we waste our time with. And so the quality of calm abiding is it stops our mind being distracted to non-virtuous non-virtuous objects. And on top of that, whatever virtuous actions we engage in, virtuous minds become more powerful through having this calm abiding.
어떤다 가르소래다 아 tinder다 신의 아니지 원의 셈 지지고 두두바이나 조조다告诉 봐봐 신의 줍셰 티 땡도 다 아니 샤럽이 냠네 아니 학보도 학동 주베시 어떻게 되게 되게 치도 임바라 조조 告诉 봐봐 신의 주베디다 신의 티 땡도 다 학동 주베 다 학동대 강육 가야로면 학동 말에 조조다 가르사나 돈이라면 활동 접체다 티 때문에 방어서 뉴몽가 자와 당지 마릭바 세티 메바스에 치도 거바 조티 바래 갑나 신은 누구야 돼 조티 치도래
So this is this mind of calm abiding, and then the purpose or the reason for our cultivating or developing calm abiding is in order to use that as a basis upon which we develop our wisdom. And here we're not talking about any odd wisdom, specifically special insight. And then this special insight is not focused on any random object. It's cultivating the special insight that's focused on emptiness. And this cultivating the special insight focused on emptiness on the basis of calm abiding, then this becomes the antidote to the root of samsara, the root of cyclic existence, this grasping at the self. And so it's for this purpose, in order to cut through or to overcome this root of samsara, the grasping at a self, we need to cultivate the special insight focused on emptiness. And we do that on the basis of calm abiding. And so for that purpose, for that reason, we need to cultivate calm abiding.
tinder에 제가 가서다 밖에다 셈 지지봐 다 원하지 유르부 파도다 원의 인생 망보 도시네다 mikpa chikla mikche ta yurumbu detwe tingazing shine tinte sitembu yoba ina yang tetsamki ta namyanda gaadhugu yore ta namto tunzo gaachi meba chagyo te ina yang mune chik pagi ta dungal chungchigi korwe tsawa marikpa setila tiki nutugu yomare chezan ti nuyamatoba inzang ta shine ti drupsabi chela nyapartu ta tonyila mikpa lakdung drupche ta shine ta tonyila mikpa lakdung kien dukana ta magi dangzi marikwa ta kale ta kola ta pagi ngunjuwa tunzu meba su tama ngunjuwa tunzu ngundu gyurmatuwa su ani kale ani ti tsawa meba su che tindegi ngana ta sanjegi namshaji sungu yorwa kore tsawa meba su che 아니 탈바세다 탐제 켐바세 주베게 남샤지다 남베숑은 시기여러.
And so this calm abiding is this single-pointedness of mind that has this ability to abide single-pointedly on a virtuous object for however long it wants, for hours, for all through the day, all through the night, through days and nights, for a long, long time. Now, but this itself, the single-pointedness of mind on a virtuous object itself, is not enough to overcome all of our preconceptions and our afflictions. While it has the ability to stop the manifest afflictions arising, it doesn't have the ability by itself, this single pointedness of mind, to be able to uproot the root of samsara, the root of all our suffering. So that's the reason why we need to, on top of that calm abiding, need to cultivate this special insight focused on emptiness, because the special insight focused on emptiness is that which is the antidote to this, the root of all of our suffering. And so we need to develop this special insight focused on emptiness in order to, in stages, at first to render the manifest afflictions to be unmanifest, and then to slowly over time through practice to completely overcome the afflictions and abandon them completely.
독신이다. 디 방치다. 타바세다. 탐지 켐바 세기 남샤디 틴데 레구여레 어때?
And so it's when we talk about abandoning those afflictions, right, not just stopping the manifest, but when we talk about abandoning them, then this is when we come to the presentation of the Buddhist paths of or the Buddhist presentation of liberation and enlightenment, complete enlightenment.
어차다 낭베 투모마이베 치주 세디 조티네레 그러다 거여서 마릭바 모숭체 다티 님볼라 다 신에다 학동 그러다 조 학동데 틴데기 또네 줄라 제시 아니 거여서 매바 서체 다 탈바 세다 탐지 김베 고방세 제시게 여바디다 낭베 투모마이베 치주 시작해요.
So this is the unique feature of the Buddhist teaching. So when we develop this, abandoning the afflictions, abandoning the root of cyclic existence, the root of samsara, through cultivating this special insight focused on emptiness, this is the unique feature of the Buddhist tradition, which shows the way to abandon the afflictions completely and to achieve the state of liberation, and beyond that to achieve the state of perfect and complete Buddhahood. So this is what makes it this defining feature of the Buddhist tradition.
독신에다 다 예스단데 셰디테레 조조다 땡엔즈기 연대 통세 다 땡엔즈다 땡엔즈스네 다 값으로 신에 다 제시베 땡엔즈 틀라 직 터바이나 디 줄라 여바이나 연대 가래가래요 어디 다 약부 신국이야래 약부 신체 아니 원해지 틀라 이촉셨다 돈다 원해지 신내지 직 터바이나 다 신담면다 왔다 연대 딘데 여바시 다 연대든지 통체 이촉 봤으로 와 이촉세 아니 오늘 지다 두고도 스타 땡에서 오늘 딘데도 쓰니다 대바때 먹고 해야 돼 계시면 해 봐. 연대 신시 될었다 이식이 대바 아니 가서래 대바디 양내 양도 다 섬로 콜고 거도 와 어때 땡에서 대바세 돼 어때
So this verse is really teaching the qualities of calm abiding, this single-pointed concentration of calm abiding. And through understanding when we achieve the state of calm abiding, what kind of qualities we will achieve through that, then we develop a real desire for wishing to achieve that state of calm abiding. So when we understand what those qualities, the variety of qualities that one would develop in a continuum, if we can develop this calm abiding, then we get this real strong wish to and see the need for developing this calm abiding in our mind. And then not only developing this wish or desire, this faith in the qualities of concentration, of calm abiding, we then need to familiarize, to habituate, to strengthen that faith again and again and again, and get this real inspiration and this delight and in wanting to develop this calm abiding, because we see the benefit of where it leads to. And that's the main thing here.
Okay. 야, 다 거기다 땡에지기 연대 통체. 다 대바템 보고야지. 원해지 땡에지 세듯이 원해지 신다면 더시도스다. 연대 신다면 더시도스다. 생비 땡라 원에지 대바 땡보 거야디 다 제시 못 찾아야 돼. 알아. 당보다.
So in the beginning, it becomes really important for us to really see, once we see the qualities of this calm abiding, we see all the qualities are like the really special qualities, really higher qualities that we can achieve through calm abiding. So when we see that they're really special qualities, then we really get this real strong wish, determination to develop this state of calm abiding in our mind. So it's through seeing the qualities of calm abiding, the special ones that are developed through it, we then really get this yearning to want to, this yearning faith that wants to strive for it.
그래, 다디 당보 대바치, 다 당보 대바래. 골라 띵해지 연대 통해 다 대바치. 디네 시내다 대바 약보 지어봐 있나? 원에지 쓰비 등라다 이다 띵해지 연대 통제 실라시 이체 여봐 있나? 아니 시내다 띵해진 깨war라 퇴녀기 dum바 쑥타고 지용해시. 그러다 대바 땜보 지어봐 대바 약보시 연대들 대방원에 야보 여봐이나 다 신에다 디지털다 오늘 땡엔진데 마톰도 탐도 쓰는 쉬우지야 dum바 쑥타고 깨지 디지털 다 용구로 와 어때.
So it's really important at first to develop the faith in this calm abiding, this real certainty of faith in the qualities of calm abiding. You think there's no way for me to not develop it. I really need it. And when you develop this, so based on having this faith in the beginning, this strong, clear faith in calm abiding, then you really develop this real strong striving, real yearning that I need to develop. There's no way for me to not develop it. And then you get this real like enthusiasm for it, this real delight in it, and really start to put effort into cultivating it.
어떻게 다 디지털다 대바 dum바 아니 준룹세 다 틴데게 dum바 쑥타고 여봐이나 오늘 균트네 틴데게 dum바 균트니다 쑥타고 여봐이나 다 준룹세 되리기로 와. 그러봐. 때 두번 잡았다. 아니 거기 균드네 다 준룹 좀 마세디 용거야. 때 두번으로 왔대.
So yeah, so I use in the terms yearning, but I remember now it's aspiring for it as well, if another way. So when you first have at the basis this strong faith in the calm abiding, then from that arises this strong aspiration, yearning to achieve the calm abiding, and then through familiarity, habituation with this faith in calm abiding, the qualities of calm abiding again and again and again, the stronger it becomes, then that will give rise to the aspiration, the yearning, which will then naturally give rise to the armor of effort, the armor of enthusiasm. And so then this armor of enthusiasm becomes really putting effort into achieving this calm abiding.
틴데시지 틴데게 다 준룹긴데 좀 자니 틴데게 또래 바기 가르쳐라 바기 다 땡에지 다 돈다 신장기 대회에서 땡에지 다 신의 톱체 다 신의 톱인도 가나 나시와나 시대 다 신의 톱아이나 아니 페제다 야와 강라 죽바이나 강에 매바체 아니 레로튼도 페제다 매바 죽고요래 레로 매바 차체 오늘 직다 지저 강 샤바이나다 오늘 직 레하고 오늘 강에 매바고는 죽트베지 용것도 와 레로 독체 어디데.
Through the power of having this faith in seeing the qualities of calm abiding, and then training this the armor of enthusiasm to cultivate in calm abiding, seeing that it's this concentration that is imbued with the pliancy of body and mind, and seeing the real benefit of developing that state of calm abiding, then you, through having the faith in it, then naturally through the power of that faith in it, gradually you'll develop. You put in the effort and develop your mind to achieve this state of calm abiding. And through developing that, then you overcome the laziness Yeah, so you have this ability to put your mind on virtuous objects however much you want for as long as you want, and you're also able to overcome the laziness that holds you back from engaging in those virtues. So it's a really positive, thing that we need to develop, this calm abiding.
진짜래. 제자다고 할소래. 아, 다 진짜 다 갈소래. 밖에 슝낭라다 송해들에 갈소래. 고 딱고 신행원해지다 중해지나. 딱고양 신의 둡산 내디양 양 제시무 차기요래. 로 통계된저 좀 그거래. 원해지다 돈여유다 신행원의 두고도 삼바이나 고양 내디 야 개발 국가 내기 갈소다 내 개발진지 양 과에 고 제시무시래 어떠신.
So when we really see that the need for developing this state of calm abiding, we get real certainty that we need to develop it, then the place or the abode in which we want to develop calm abiding becomes very important. We need a special kind of place in order to cultivate calm abiding with all the conducive conditions.
독신 다 tinzo 다 레레네 다 tinzo 다 람네 로바이나 다 내기 잡았던 저 숨열에 다티 먼저 다 직단이 쉬모가체 어와 당장 투수 거고도 제가 tinzo야 다 오늘 직 소소 던여요나 다 람네 tinzo 로 지나다 다 내기 잡았던 데다 tin데 숨열에 어와 tinzo 로샤니고 내 tin데 최고야 어떻게 심부래.
So for those of us who have an interest in this, then if we want to know more about the special place in which to cultivate calm abiding, then we can find the explanations of those in the Lamrim texts. And so, it takes time to go into it today. We don't need to go into it for those who are interested in it. If you want to find out more, if you refer to the Lamrim text, it's all explained in there, the kind of place that one needs to abide in order to cultivate calm abiding.
다가다 시안에 찍다 내가 제 친구 찍디 아무리지 두중 축세 세지 더 더바충아 축세바 세들에 다디야다 제 친구 그거야 신의 두벨라 더 더바충아 세시 당은 좋다 코이나데 세이나데 다 멍보시 어찌다 목도스네 근데 착반 매바시 그거야 어떤데 직시 축세바스다 코이나데 다 칼라이나데 다 데사이나데 다 딕점기다 총이나 다 되게 소소 초시치지 어디야 내가 심부래 신영원에 두고 있나 어디 등계한테 참고해야 돼.
So among the prerequisites for cultivating calm abiding, one of the most important ones is having this mind of contentment. Okay, so it's having like less desires and more satisfaction. So whether it be with clothes or with our food or the place of staying, with these things, we should be happy with what we've got, basically. Shouldn't have too high hopes for the food that we have. We'd be satisfied with whatever food we have with, and not too much hopes with the clothing, but also satisfied with whatever clothing we have, like that. So this mind of contentment is an extremely important prerequisite for developing calm abiding.
독신에 땅은 좋다 하루서를 양고 양은 좋야 변나다 신영원에 두고 있나 다 총총계다 아니지 가서를 파기다 파기 야 지게다 다 매기 거장에다 아니 미망보념도야 쉬 가도이나 기제 시시대다 어틴데지 멤버지 고거야 뭐 틴데 좋나야 신의 두배다 같이 좀 시작해야 순간 같아.
And so if we really do want to develop calm abiding, then things like business, having business and studying astrology and medicine, or hanging around with many people in society, these things we should give up if we want to develop calm abiding. Those things are a real obstacle for developing calm abiding.
그래, 어다가 나신다, 소소다, 배나 랍중이나, 다 랍중이 추림, 나발 타봐. 다가 나신다, 전주선배 domba 송이나, 다 전주선배 domba, 나발 타봐시. 어딘데 송체. 아니, 가시다, dombadan 가와이나야, 대마타도, 아니, 바, 샤바체. 어딘데지, 야, 내가 심을 차기 요래.
So if we are ordained, then we really need to keep living our vows purely, to hold our vows purely. And if we had the bodhisattva vow, to keep a pure bodhisattva vow. These are also important prerequisites for developing karma abiding. And if we don't have ordained, if we're not ordained yet, then the practice of purification is really important. Confessing our negativities.
다 던다, 남도 때서
Sorry,
명하고
this Khen Rinpoche, na di domba dan gelwak na di no ensere di
오케이.
di rabjung dam domba madembi kansa mayimbache di rabjung yimbache any di domba dan tim gel dao yana deni tikba shako di dini kamin kari yana di struks sabosona di rabjung yana domba nam dakpa zungo jonju simba domba zungna di nam dakpa zungo di
냐베
pala saya
거바이나
any di kangla
나 전주선에
Nyempa
또
ko yana
받아
lasa lasa
가왔다
lasa
나
lasa.
주등 소다가 또 받아 가와충나 대마타도야
Mm.
샤동
Mm.
샤바치 어떤
Lasa.
치주시
Sorry, I made a mistake. So on top of if you have the ordination vow, you need to keep it purely. If you have the bodhisattva vow, to keep it purely. And if we do anything that's not in line with the vows, as soon as we notice it, immediately we need to confess and purify this negativity.
어디 대신에 다 통계인데 상배 땡네 다 신의 주베지 순구열에 그러와 어따 딘데지 다 통계 먼저 많이 나게야 먼저 신의 주베디 레러버지 멤버래 그러와 다 통계인데 창국이야 통계 딘데 창배 땡네 다 신의 주바이나 안 나와쪽 로직 딘데게 나라 두토에 남샤 순구도 와 어때
Oh, true. Yeah.
말 나와쪽 로직이 나라 신의 두토에 남샤
Logic.
순구야 같은 게 차당 좀
Ah.
많이 나 주바나시 어때
Mm. So we need to have the culmination of all these conducive conditions come together in order to cultivate calm abiding. If we don't have the culmination of all the conducive conditions together, it'd be very difficult for us to cultivate calm abiding. And it is said in the text that if we are able to have all the conducive conditions come together, then we will easily accomplish calm abiding within 6 months or up to a year.
단다 장주 남들 나라 때 송도와 장주 남들 나라 신의 야라 남냠 베스다 신의 주베게 야라 뜻 나셔바나시 통계도 마차와이나 아니 소속깔에 잡체다 신의 주바이나야 론이 동다 타기 장 로동다 망부 거바이나 땡에서 주버 미주로스 어디 송도와 남들 나라
So Khen Rinpoche quoted from Atisha's Lamp to the Path of Enlightenment. I won't be able to say exactly the words, sorry, but it states in Atisha's Lamp to the Path of Enlightenment that if you don't have all the conducive conditions together to cultivate calm abiding, then you might put in a lot of effort over a long, long time, over hundreds of thousands of years, over hundreds of years or thousands of years, but it's never going to come. You're not going to achieve this state of calm abiding.
근데 내가 그냥 무슨 바지요래 무슨 바지 그 신의 두빈이 납체 빼지 로죽숨 죽시스도 침발에 신의 두빈 신의 두가 도체 로죽숨 죽시도 친샤 알로스 시가 권의 토스 나 로중이 죽숨 친송사 신의 두가 친세이나 신의 두토 마송사 신의 두토 카포레샤 어떤 더 두토미도스 아니 어떤 데시 럽송 코랑 평알라
So Khen Rinpoche's friend is someone he known for a while, has set out to accomplish karma binding a long time ago. So he's already been in retreat for 13, 14 years trying to cultivate this karma binding. Now, Khen Rinpoche met with him 3 or 4 years ago, and he said, I still haven't accomplished karma binding. It's really difficult to achieve karma binding. And so that was, when he's already been trying to accomplish it over 11 or 12 years and still hadn't achieved it. And so it's really difficult to achieve karma binding, it seems.
어때를 제자고 가서래 다 땅원에 신는 티래 다 신행원에 다 가서래 보기 중나 다 교친 중어 땅 등기 삼바전조 달라 가로시 로장 디단에 기부 신배 최다 장주의 심지 골라 가로시다 지 냠냠 때 주여가 시시 다 딘조고 현실다 아니 다 신내서 다 신내 두고 침바이나 아니 편도 채용하시
And so to develop karma binding, if we're able to really cultivate the practice of or cultivate practice of the practices shared with those of the lower scope beings, and cultivate the practice of the practices shared with the medium scope beings from the Lam Rim. If we're able to cultivate those, and then especially on top of that, the practices of cultivating bodhicitta and so forth from the Mahayana vehicle, the practices of the great scope being, then these will be really effective support for a really, supportive, conducive for cultivating karma binding on that.
어떤 쉐데 팅 가르스나 디다데 모심바디기 로주기 조숨신 곰잡 단도 신의 두마송 고랑게 라바레 아니 고마 곰잡도 기부도사 곰잡도 기부도사나 치로라 마 용체 아니 로바샤바도 스니 게제 데바 통고를 와치로 데바도 통부가나 아니 코 선나라 기부 메가체 디 공도랑 도사 공갈라티 가레 마틱바이나스 코랑갈라 지와시당스 가레 마틱바이나스 어디스 공부랑 도사 나 샤나 좀 공대나 기부도사고 근데 가 주지차가 주직인데 그 선매시 대도도 쓰기도 나 치료도 다 야마도 미통 독시도 양고 선나 기부 메가시 공도랑 도 가이나스 공갈 지와시당스
And so this acquaintance of Rinpoche, when he met with him a few years ago, was honest with him and said that I haven't achieved karma binding yet. And then he asked the question to Rinpoche. He said to Khen Rinpoche, he said, look, when I'm in the meditation in my room, it's all going fine and I'm happy. But then when I go down and outside to the village and I meet with other people, then I don't feel so happy, and I get angry sometimes when I meet with other people and talk with them. This anger arises. What's that all about? What's going on? And so he explained like that. When I'm meditating in the cave or in the retreat, I'm very happy. And then when I come out of the room, anger arises and my mind is not so happy. And so he was honest and said, when I go into the room and meditate, then I'm come by it and then trying to cultivate it, then I can stay for a while, maybe half an hour or something. The mind can abide. To check out. To check out some
제가 수직 대도도 쓰고
yeah. So I can stay for like half an hour in this state, but yeah. So what's going on? Yeah, why is it like that? And then when I come down and go into the village and meet with people and I get angry, what's going on with that? And so he asked this to Khen Rinpoche.
제장 단에 쉐디 티레다 가르스나다 제장 tin데 마요의 치도 제장 라브림 다 기부 중어다 징기 토모야 람라 로창와세 하바도다 찬주의 섬데스다고 섬데스 뭐라 땅치 tin데 지어바이나 다 공로란 강아디 용마라와 어때 제장 뭐라다 토모 람장 아 중어다 징 아니 하바도 찬주의 섬디 냠네도 때 수시다고 섬로 땅치 아니 가로시 아부차도 되니 독스 신내 두가 치마이나 콘도마요라 펜토하시 디멘도스 아니 코로나 지바인자도 chanju semba tikor komgye besda komgye mesdo 아니 다 tikor samma tangko kore di tangbaina peche kontrol ke metro sila kyushwa.
So in order to protect us from that, to prevent this from happening, then Khen Rinpoche's advice is to reflect on the paths shared with the lower scope beings and the common paths shared with the medium scope beings, and on top of that, to cultivate the unique Mahayana path of bodhicitta and so forth. If we can reflect on those before we set out to cultivate calm abiding, then this should protect us from this happening. Because if you're meditating on these things and cultivating bodhicitta, then there's no way for anger to arise, right? And so Khen Rinpoche offered this up. He shared this advice to his friend. He asked his friend, so have you been cultivating the shared paths of the lower scope being and the shared paths of the mediate scope being, and then the unique Mahayana practices? Have you been reflecting on those, cultivating those? And he said no. And so then Khen Rinpoche said if you perhaps reflect on these common scope, lower scope and medium scope practices and the higher scope practices, then this may likely help your cultivation of calm abiding.
tene 다 지젤라 나 투야 말에 다 거랑 던다 가와연 하고 무슨 야가 되버지 요새래 단도 곰다 잡대래 지치스마 투마소.
And since then, I haven't seen him. Rinpoche says I haven't seen him, so I don't know how he's going or where he is. But I assume he's still in India, and that I suspect he's still in meditation now.
틴데레 제자다 거스월다. 이래 제자다 딱 알아서 때는 신의 두 개나 다 거기다 다 밑바 가래 때나 저다 되게요. 이나다 가서라 거기 다 흉몽배 나라 다 거기 신의 밑바디 배나 투배 온보 상대 좀된데 tinde시 아니지 밑바 댄시 tin데라 믹시 신의 두바이나 아니 편도 체여바시 정말 밑바에 세고로 바시는 좀 지단 강도 때나 디그디나다 더 약쇼디 산지 꾸지라 믹체다 그래 특별 온보 꾸진데시라 믹체다 신의 두바이나 아니 그 편도 체여바시 숨고도가 어때.
So in general, it's suitable to focus on any object in order to. So the object of that we should focus on in cultivating calm abiding, if we wish to cultivate calm abiding in general, we can focus on any object. However, in many of the texts, it explains that the best object to reflect on, to meditate on, or to focus on as your object is the powerful, able Shakyamuni Buddha. And so in many of the scriptures, they explain to take to mind like a statue of the Buddha, an image of Shakyamuni Buddha the holy body of Shakyamuni Buddha, then this is the best object to focus on in order to cultivate calm abiding.
다던다 거기 좀 대대랑 기경 거기 다 땡겨진 게고 더 나와 어디데 송도와 답은 산지 꿀한 믹체다 땡겨진 주변나 어디데 송도와
생기게 보기도 난다.
땡겨진 게고도 서로 지도 나라 산지 꿀한 믹체 땡겨진 주변이.
So even Shakyamuni Buddha himself, in the King of Concentration Sutra, explained that to focus on the body of the Buddha as your object for cultivating calm abiding.
대신 다 되게 다 표현되는 방법이야 봐래. 배는 산지 굳이 아니 지다 달은 믹체도 신다 선모시 땅바 있나? 아니 고 산지 지수 텐체. 그리고 산지 지수 템바세요. 산지 지수 텐체. 아니 오늘지 산지 꽃 템바 점기. 아니지 오늘지 보기 선은 저 막도 내가 사야지. 어디 숨겨야 돼?
So there are numerous benefits to cultivating calm abiding while fixing on the object of the body of Shakyamuni Buddha, because and one of the main ones is that it means that again every time we're calling the Buddha's image to mind, right? We're calling the Buddha to mind, and so each time that we remember the Buddha, then it creates a really virtuous mind, and so it's a really positive object to meditate on because of the virtue that we accumulate through recollecting the Buddha.
어떤데 진에 보기 다 되나시다 콜라 산지 꾸틴데 시다 아니 미바체차 아니 소소기 루유도다 이게 시비 유도 산지 꾸치다 산지 꾸이 남바디 이 시기 유도다 그야 보지 차토바 충분히나 아니 세보지 차토바이나 다 소소게 몰람 답게이나 하고 잡아치 모용해 아니 디바 샤게이나 디dun도 디바 샤일라 아니 잡아치 뭐 휴지 용하시 that's 그러와 어때
Onda Khen the the yigi yul the yana yigi selvagi yana yigi yul yul la
이기 이시기 율라 단미빠디 이시기라 차고라와 어때
lare. And so taking the object of the Buddha and the image of the Buddha as our object for cultivating calm abiding, it needs to be a mental image, not something separate outside from us, but actually generating a visualization, an image of the Buddha, calling that to mind. And so when we are able to cultivate this this image of the Buddha in our mind, then if we can keep that in mind, then when we're cultivating virtue, it becomes very powerful. And when we're purifying negativities, it becomes very powerful while holding this image, this mental image of the Buddha in mind.
텐데시네 다 가서다 아니 텐데시다 소소 영혼에 찍다 세보 텐데 차도 봐나 다 소소 또 쓰는 곰 텐데 잡땡에나 소소다 치윈이 못했다 치갈라 마야다 치도다 소소기 이기 율라다 상게도 세보 차치 어떤데 용토배 어떤데 이게가는 치도 봐이나 아니 녀손도 미게 어떤데 잡아치 뭐야
Onadi tama kosamaso.
녀손도 미게 왔어
Ninsong dumukeva ale hakos.
녀손도
And so the more that we can cultivate this concentration focused on the image of the Buddha, then the stronger that practice, that habituation comes, then the less and less that our mind steers to the external objects. And then the more we're able to place our mind on this image of the Buddha and strengthen our concentration, then we can block the door to the lower realms. So we won't be reborn into the lower realms. Not born into the lower realm.
tinder에 다 tinde기다 다 간다 다 하고 남바 다래 다 산지게 남바 tinde지라 세부 차토가 tinde기 냠네 약부 여바이나 다 타도는 좀 나라 주고야 돼. 도 냠네 멤버체다 tin데 나라 죽체 나냠네 체인도 가라야 라니 하이 냐 라니 사르 깨제 하이 내 주고면 남샤 숨도 와 와 대가보다 잡을치 모용하지 라니 사르 깨제 고민도 가라 다 응아르기다 산지 구이라 쳐봐 낭싱지다 라니 사르 깨제 고민도 가라 나냠네 치도 가라고 되게 양 잡을치 못해야지 어떤데 숨겨야 돼.
So through cultivating this meditation on holding the aspect of the deity or the aspect of the Buddha in our meditation, so through strengthening our familiarity with that, then this leads like an entry or leads to the tantric or the secret mantra path of meditating on rising meditating on visualizing oneself arising in the aspect of the deity. And so through familiarizing with this, the object of the deity's body, the body of the Buddha in our meditation through training and concentration, that will lead us to this higher practice of the secret mantra where we arise as ourselves into the aspect of the deity, which is a very, very powerful, special kind of meditation in the tantric path.
딱 건다, 딱 던다, 어떻게 딱 썼다. 그래, 딱 건다. 통맞다. 거기 소속의 신의 누구 있나? 되게 시원한 신의 딱 밑된디 책 의아래. 밑된지 책이 아니고 다 소속 강한 밑받치게는 밑받지 책이 딱 단다 시원한 거수 산지 특별 홍보 그래 넘버도 들어봐. 이라 샷했다 때 야보스는 telemipa 송세 다 독신이 다 신의 주배시래.
So from the outset, when you want to embark on cultivating calm abiding, you need to fix your mind on one object. So the object of the image of the Buddha, then we should remain on that object, not change the object. So in order to, from the outset, you choose one object and then you stay with that through the duration of cultivating this concentration.
독실다 가르소를 거기다 거기다 근데 밑바지 니 누가라 딱딱고 신의 세디 가르소라다 밑바지 니체 두배 갑라 아니 곰잡이 누가라 semlata 거기 밑바지 세부여봐 아니 직직직 세부여봐다 sem라양 sem기 살체 날라 거라 sem라 살체 날 sem지 옆도 면바쳐 sem라 직 sem라 날이여봐 세죠라 살체 날던데 마시 미바 세부 구비여래 세부지고 말해 sem라 날이여봐지 살체 날던데 마시도와
The ngar nadi inji sik
맞습니다.
shingi di dunda kare ngar.
가르소라 sem지 바 즉 semla shugme ba mare semla shugya ba shi kuka semla yang ko
Oh, las.
marsen semla yang de shugya ba bin de hule de mare ni ga mare semla ji pagi khala le semla de sta salche gi ta mare ba shi sigoro khala ta
Yana nupa dao, yana shukya bia dao, bini dao.
semla shugya ba shi kuka de semla shugya ba ja be ko na hule si de na ti ga ma sem khorang
And so once we've fixed our mind on our object of meditation, then we need to hold our mind on that meditation, and so that the object should appear to the mind very clearly. And it's not enough just to have this clear appearance of the object, but also the mind needs to be not just sat in a relaxed, effortless way. It needs to be like have some power in the way it holds the object.
I don't know, power or energy, I don't know, some kind of energy power, I'm not sure how it translates. Ngar. I don't know. Such a martin tepas. Takada tire. Tire, tatanda, mikpati, ta chichik to nepa se tire. Kon mikpati la, rawata, nesha, and mikpati, sem mayawanche, and it pagi ne tepachi. 어떤데 기주tin데 창고야 등에지 약부 두번 참아라 그리고 설정 맞던데 봐 지직도 내봐 세트 어떤데 기준이든 된 거야 순간 와
So to have this mind of calm abiding, it needs to have those two qualities of having this clear appearance of the object, and then like Rinpoche is describing, like this kind of energy that's focused on the object. So this energy or power to be endowed with that quality and endowed with the quality of having this clear appearance of the object.
지식도 내봐 됐어.
and that mind is abiding one pointedly. It can abide one pointedly on that object while having that clear appearance and having the energy on that object.
진대시래. 따뜻니 가서 답하기. 진대시 따뜻다. 따뜻나라서 가서 보기. 다시는 드미도 간라. 다 조조다. 신 냐발라 파도 좁아 징이디 다 치와세 고바 세기다. 진대기다. 발제시키요래. 로 땡은 좀 갑라다. 치와용에 고바용에 어디겠다. 아니지 발제디 티레 다시는 드베다 젝다오디.
So for the cultivation of calm abiding, there are those obstacles that come up that get in the way of our cultivation of calm abiding, and those are laxity and excitement. So the obstacles of laxity and excitement hinder our cultivation of calm abiding, our
독신에
cultivation of a single point of concentration.
독신에 따뜻네 가르쳐라 보게 단다 상망을 좀 퇴시키미도 다 조조다 티레 단다 우태 값수다 신의 두 당시 송고도가 단다 파파 토메기 우타르와 디갑라다 냐방아 뽕 두셰게 댄스 어떤데 원했다 신의 두 당시 남셔지 송고도가 어디지.
So in Arya Asangas, we can't speak about everything to do with this, but in short, we can focus on the Arya Asangas text, Uta. I've forgotten what that is in English. Uta. Oh, it's Umagi Ta.
우타능체 아침도
Yeah. So in the Arya Sangas text, where he teaches the 5 faults, overcoming the 5 faults with the 8 antidotes. This is presentation of the overcoming the 5 faults through cultivating the 8 antidotes and to cultivate single point of concentration.
어때래 다 조조다 녀바 찍들에 가르쳐 왔다 레로 세디 다만조 로다 레로티 녀바 찍래 로 땡엔진 바 곰발라 중마 중에다 녀바 찍 레로레 로와.
So one of the faults for that get in the way of cultivating this single point of concentration, one of the faults or the first fault is laziness. Laziness.
두신다 레로디 다 마용의 치도 다 레로디 도하게 치도 다 등월로 시바나 신레 땡은스기 여자 통에 대바야 보고야지 내가 치데 아니 에너지 듬바 땡은스라 천두니에게 듬바 슉타 보고야 계시면 안티등도 다 준주 로와 디드베 치도 준치네 메트네다 고야가 준주 계시면 아니 디네다 디 똑게더니 신장 세디 내용 거야래. 다 신장 세디라니 즉 터바이나 아니 거다 레로디 독도야지. 어때래?
So this fault of laziness that hinders our achieving calm abiding is antidoted or overcome by, as we mentioned earlier, the strong faith that sees the qualities of concentration, of this single point of concentration. And on top of that, faith seeing the qualities of concentration, this strong striving or yearning, this aspiration for achieving concentration arises. And through this strong aspiration, striving to achieve calm abiding, then we cultivate the effort that naturally comes through the effort applying to achieve calm abiding, and then through the power of that, then the pliancy comes. And then when we have the pliancy that comes from training of those, then this antidotes the laziness.
다 레로기 님보라 시 세드다 던다 티레 레로 님보 시스다 태바 dum바 조와 신장 납치다 어디 땡고야 숨겨래 lelo doya chido.
So in order to overcome the first fault of laziness, or the first hindrance of laziness, there are the four antidotes. Those four antidotes of faith and aspiration, effort, and pliancy.
독신에 다 lelo sete 다 tire 다 tine karso 다 tine 다 제바 세디어래 다 소소의 공개하기 밑바디 제바 세디래 다 전배유디 제바이나 바디 냐바차기어래 저서
And so the second fault is forgetfulness. So if we forget the object of our meditation, if we lose that object of meditation, then we lose our concentration, or lose our single point of concentration. So that second fault, forgetfulness.
텔라다 더 진행 충발라 다티 님볼라 참바다 시신 더 진실 땡과에 순구여래 로 참바다 시신기다 님보 땡고여래 어떻게
So in order to overcome the hindrance of forgetfulness, we need to rely on the antidotes of mindfulness and alertness.
딘데시네다 어딘저 띠래 다티니 다 가르쳐다 빼나다 두스 곰잡이 도간라 아니 지금 거기 가르쳐래 mikpa duksini ta gomjari dukala ta chingwa tang gopa chungshe ta tingshe ki hakoche ta chambada ta sheshin ki hakoche tini ta ngoshense ta tela ta nyambo di tengu kuyare nyambo ducheba seti tini juwa shen dukala ta mashaba chese namsan ta chingwa tang 고바 가래 중에 뒤 님보디 땡고요. 단 드셔봐서 님보 드셔봐서 시작해.
So then the faults of laxity and excitement, when we notice that they're in the mind, so where we're meditating along and we're trying to cultivate this single point of concentration, when we notice that our minds are being hindered by laxity and excitement, then to overcome those hindrances, we need to rely on the antidote of, we need to rely on applying the antidote. So applying the antidote of mindfulness and alertness.
어떻게 양은 좀 곰잘 두가라 아니 지금 거기 셉지 몇발라 약부 대체 아니 칭화당 고바 가야 뭐 충체 아니 그 몇발라 약부 신내 두가라 양티 아니 보때나 양 받쳐지거래 니 보때 님보 맞대 맞체체 다 단념수 샥체 다 독신 샤지만도 단념보 드미셔봐세 디갑라다 양념보 땡고 그 말에 독신 심 단념바신 다가랑 샤지 단념보 땡바이나 양 괜찮게요.
So then as we're meditating along and our meditation becomes more and more stable, when we're not hindered by laxity and excitement anymore, then we have to ease off applying the antidote. So the antidote to the applying when you don't need to, when your mind is already stable on the object, not hindered by laxity and excitement, then you need to ease off with the mindfulness and alertness, and what you need to practice here is the non-application of the antidote, this state of equanimity.
This one.
Excellent.
today 도시래 다 갈라버다. 그래 다 tin데 도시 몇 왔다니 믹스에 쉬어 김도 다텔라. 그래 제자다 되게 쉬어야 돼. 제자다 고카소래. 산제기. 그래 산제 군다. 야나 산제기다. 티샤베 리모트인데 약보 대세다. 곰자지 미 곰자 말에. 다 얘기 시베 다 틴데기 넘버디 아니 거기 대반낭 신 아니 소소기다 이 시기 유라 다 틴데 차와체제 아니 텔라 미과 대체 독신이다 신의 주베지 숨겨야래.
So it's like that. I don't have much more to say on top of that, but the main thing to come down on is that when we want to cultivate calm abiding, this single point of concentration, then to fix our mind on the object, and if so, in order to hold the mental image of the Buddha, then to start with a really good either statue of the Buddha or a very good tanka image of the Buddha. But meditating a single point of concentration is not done with our eyes. We then need to take that image to be a mental aspect. So to hold the aspect of the Buddha image in our mind so that it becomes a mental object and use that for our cultivation of the single point of concentration.
틴데 땅아서 딱 한다. 가르쳐다 신의 둑툭견로 마툭견로 돈다이니 산지 꾸시 이 시기 유라 소속이다 세부 차답이 충분이나 근데 차답 충분이나 아니 편도 충분하래 가르스나 소속이다 cap수 더사이나래 아니 대바 샤기나래 다 먼저 답이 야라 둔지고는 초사 집상치에다 진짜는 신담면다 있다지 편도 요한시.
So whether we're able to develop calm abiding or not able to develop calm abiding, if we're able to take a mental image of the Buddha to mind, then this is really going to be so beneficial for us, where it becomes the object that we can call to mind when we're going for refuge and when we're purifying our negativities, when we're engaging in the practice of the 7 limb prayer. If we do all this with this mental image of the Buddha in mind, it becomes a very powerful support for very, very beneficial for our practice.
너 들에 딱 가서 말 시와래 저는 학벌도 딱 먼저 배나 틴데 세부 충분이나 다 로와 다 아니지 다 거기다 소속했다 먼저 점도도 말래 점도도 망치기 내래 다 점도도 나라 다 가래 소속이 롱초바이나 사이나 통하이나 아니 당보 다 문조로 초바 표야기 점도 납차시도 와 진조양 원해지다 누가 첨부용하시 아니 지 자지 통바이나래 고비지 통바이나래 칼라지 세바이나래 당보다 산제티 일라체지 아니 텔라다 소속의 롱마주베 마루도 아니 칭겔랍체 동보 아니 산젤라여 쳐바 피체 아니 디제수 랑기 롱쩌나 아니 원해지다 칼라 사바티 원해지 아니 비 사바티다 겨워를 줘야지 로왔다 차바티 겨워를 줘야지 손은 초사에 귤을 줘야지 산지의 고번 탑에 귤을 줘야지 용도도 와 어디래.
If we can keep this clear mental image of the Buddha in our mind when we go through our daily activities. So many of us, most of us here have all taken the refuge vow, right? And so part of the training in the refuge vow is to offer up anything that we're going to make use of before we make use of it, before we enjoy it, to offer it up to the 3 jewels. And so this cultivation of this mental object of the Buddha will be very powerful support for our training in refuge. So whatever objects that we're going to make use of or enjoy beforehand, if we can receive the blessings of the Buddha and then offer up to the 3 jewels before we partake of it. Then whether we're drinking a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and whatever things that we're making use of while eating food, then if we do it in this way, through offering it up first and receiving the blessings, then this all strengthens our refuge. It becomes virtuous activity of training in our refuge.
디시 땅아서 딱 가르쳐나 다 카열라기 땅아서 편도여야지 어틴데시 치고도 삼부에 먼저 균도다 셀라 롱추고야래 저는 티갑라다 군조 일라치체 아니 지역파기 아니 사동지 당보 칭길라 그러봐. 친게 랍제. 아니 초바필. 그러봐. 아니 군조로 야 초바필. 아니 디지스랑 롱주. 아니 롱주지 죽도. 아니 뭐하체. 내 쳐봐이는 원해 직다. 손은 러보지 사치. 다 돈다 드립니다. 그러봐.
So the meaning here is we cultivate this very big store of accumulation of merit through every time that whatever we have to hand, whatever we're eating, whatever we're drinking, these things that we're making use of beforehand, before we take them, if we receive the blessing and offer up these objects to the three jewels before we partake of them, then in doing it in this way, we're holding in mind the three jewels of refuge. And so this becomes a really positive accumulation of merit.
틴데치다. tukla charu chi se shi. Rwa ta tongzu ta. Jima tuzu rasu na. Tine ma ta shara kor tine ma shu ju che. Ta tarin de la sha na. Tuzu di depsha.
So please hold this in your heart, what we've looked at today. And in the future, if we have time, we will continue through the text, looking at the presentation of wisdom. But for now, we'll leave it here for today.
틴데레. 다 어떡신이다. 틴데시면 좋다. 투지체. 다 제주 야보 총송. 투지체.
So Rinpoche says, thank you. Let's leave it here for today. That's Khen Rinpoche.
조심해도 트람리람리시 니르겐바디 상예시노 미테오라니 로고남다시나 저바요 제솔라메 고체랍데 진앙카트릴레 저쪽에 바다 로장템베 드메사송이 로에문세다도 내교지다 구루라트라만달라가니랴타야미 가리라웨 토르웨 신간지 겐다테와 말로조에네 체레지와 텐지갸조이 샤베시테 바르도 텐교티 잔조 센조림보제 마케 파나케 교치 케파냐 파메파야 로네 건두 페와 쇼다조 징에사 베게와디 텐단드로와 큘라 감벤다 케바르 제수 로잠 드라바이 템베님보리 두센제쇼.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
very much.
Good night, everyone. Yeah, to show. Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you, Dromala.
Hey, Venerable Chingla.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
inviting
Thank
me for
you.
this opportunity. Thank you all. It was lovely to
Thanks
share
so
this
much.
beautiful teaching with you. Thank you. A privilege.
Grazie
Thank you.
Siliana, come sempre.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, Venerable Siliana. Good to see you again. Ciao.